eternal halls of Hastinapura, beneath the silent gaze of ancestors and gods, the wheels of fate turned slowly, yet unceasingly. The great vow of Bhishma had secured the future of King Shantanu's lineage. Yet what appeared as peace on the surface was only the calm before a gathering storm. The sons of Satyavati were to continue the Kuru bloodline, but destiny does not heed the desire of kings. It listens only to dharma and to karma. Welcome to Dark Whispers, where we journey into the heart of one of the world's greatest epics, the Mahabharata, a story of honor, betrayal, love, power, and the eternal struggle between light and shadow. Here we don't just retell a story, we live it, one verse at a time, one warrior at a time. From the game of dice to the battle of Kurukshetra, discover the Mahabharata like never before. Do subscribe to our channel, and without any further ado, let the saga begin. Satyavati and Shantanu had two sons, Chitrangada and Vichitravirya. The elder, Chitrangada, grew into a proud and powerful prince. His strength and valor were such that even the Gandharva king Chitrangada, a celestial being of the same name, took notice and offense. Unable to bear a mortal sharing his name and fame, the Gandharva king descended to earth to challenge the prince. A mighty battle ensued on the banks of the Saraswati river, lasting for days, echoing through earth and sky. In the end, the celestial Chitrangada struck down the human prince. The first son of Satyavati fell, childless, and his promise unfulfilled. With the throne now vacant, Vichitravirya, still in his youth, was crowned king. But the burden of rule fell upon the shoulders of Bhishma, the eternal guardian. Bhishma governed the kingdom while Vichitravirya matured, and when the time came, he set out to find the queens for the young king. It was then that he heard of the Swayamvara of the three princesses of Kashi, Amba, Ambika, and Ambalika, daughters of the Kashi king. The Kuru dynasty had not been invited, a slight that Bhishma could not ignore. He rode forth alone astride his mighty chariot, determined to claim worthy brides for the Kuru throne. The Swayamvara was filled with the kings and warriors from across the Bharat, each vying for the hands of the Kashi maidens. Bhishma, in his armor of silver and gold, entered the hall not as a suitor, but as a force of fate. With thunderous might he declared his intent, and before the gathering could react, he seized all three princesses and rode away, invoking the ancient rite of the Rakshasa Vivaha, the warrior's marriage by combat. Kings gave chase, but none could stand before Bhishma. He vanquished them all, including Shalva, the ruler of Soba, who harbored secret love for the eldest princess, Amba. Returning to Hastinapura, Bhishma presented the three maidens to Vichitravirya. But destiny had not yet spoken its final word. Amba, the eldest, stepped forward and declared her heart already belonged to King Shalva, whom she had chosen in spirit before the Swayamvara. Hearing this, Bhishma allowed her to return to Shalva. But Shalva, wounded by Bhishma's humiliation, rejected her, questioning her purity and loyalty. Thus cast aside by both kingdoms, Amba returned to Hastinapura, pleading for justice. She begged Bhishma to marry her, but he could not. His vow of celibacy bound him tighter than any chain. Amba was consumed by fury, rejected by Shalva, forsaken by Bhishma, and unaccepted by society. With her heart aflame, she turned to the rishis and sages, seeking salvation through vengeance. She performed intense tapasya, wandering from forest to forest, until she encountered Parshurama, Bhishma's guru. Moved by her suffering, Parshurama confronted Bhishma, demanding he marry her. A colossal duel followed, Bhishma against his own teacher. Earth shook under their weapons. Stars dimmed beneath their fury, but even Parshurama could not break Bhishma's vow. Defeated by fate once more, Amba cast away her princely identity and embraced aesthetic fire. She performed severe austerities, called upon Lord Shiva. After long penance, Shiva appeared and blessed her. In her next birth, she would become the cause of Bhishma's death. Thus born the future warrior, Shikandi, a key figure in the final war. But that is a story yet to unfold. The remaining two sisters, Ambika and Ambalika, were wed to Vichitravirya. For 7 years, the young king ruled under Bhishma's guidance, enjoying life with his queens. But he had inherited a weakness of constitution. Slowly, illness consumed him. Despite all efforts, Vichitravirya died childless, and the Kuru line stood on the edge of extinction. A kingdom without an heir, a throne without a future, and a crisis without a solution. Satyavati, now widowed and desperate to preserve the royal lineage, remembered the son she had born before her marriage, the sage Krishnadvaipayana, later known as Sage Vyasa. She summoned him, revealing the crisis. Vyasa, bound by dharma, agreed to help, but warned her. His aesthetic form was severe. His presence was frightening. The princesses must accept him without fear, or the consequences would be grave. Satyavati arranged for Vyasa to perform niyoga, the ancient rite wherein a learned and righteous man fathers children on a widow to continue the family line. That night, Vyasa entered Ambika's chamber. Terrified by his appearance, Ambika closed her eyes. A child was conceived, blind like her vision that night. He would be born as Dhritarashtra. On the next night, Ambalika was sent. She turned pale with fear, and the child born from her would be pale and weak, known as Pandu. Satyavati requested Ambika to try again, but the princess, unwilling, sent a maid in her place. This time, the maid remained calm and respectful. A third child was born, Vidura, wise and virtuous, though not of royal womb. He would become one of the wisest men of the age. With the births of Dhritarashtra, Pandu and Vidura, the Kuru line was preserved, but now without complications. Dhritarashtra was born blind, hence he could not rule. Pandu, though healthy, he was not of senior birth, and Vidura, despite his wisdom, was born of a maid and thus was denied the throne. The seeds of future conflict had been sown. Ambition stirred in silence. Fate had begun its march towards Kurukshetra. Bhishma remained the unwavering guardian, silent, powerful, yet bound by the oaths he could never break. The stage was set, the players were born. The fire beneath the surface grew hotter with each passing day. And thus, the royal line of Hastinapura continued, not in peace. A blind prince, a cursed heir, and a sage's son now held the hopes of a dynasty. The earth itself waited for what was to come would be nothing of a divine reckoning. In the next episode, we follow the lives of Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura. We enter the forests of sages, the peaks of curses, and the bonds of dynasty that would one day split brothers upon the field of war. The Mahabharata continues without pause, without a mission.